So for example, let's say you have a room and you are standing at the door of that room. It's a massive room, a lot of space. You're standing at the door of that room. And you receive everyone who walks by, they pass you a piece of paper. And you receive this piece of paper and you throw it back into the room. And every time you get a paper, you throw it into the room. Every time you receive a paper, you throw it into the room. After a long period of time, you look back and you see a massive pile, mashallah, tabarakallah, of pages and paper, and the room is filled with paper. And then you think to yourself that, you know what? I remember there was one page that I was given that had something really interesting on it. I told myself that I'll look into it later. Let me go find it. And you go into the room and now you're looking for that paper. Are you going to find it? The answer is no. Why? Because randomized or randomly you've scattered all of these pages throughout the entire room. So all of it's there, but it's very difficult for you to arrive at where it is. This analogy is an analogy of our mind. Your mind is the room, and the paper that you receive is new information. If you don't organize how that information is stored in your mind and you simply throw it into your mind, in the end, you'll spend 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years studying. In the end, you'll feel like you know nothing and you gain nothing from your studies. Because the information was not stored in the room, the information was not stored in your mind in a way that you can easily access it later on. It was randomly thrown into your brain. And yes, so it's somewhere there. You know how, subhanAllah, this effect actually takes place. If someone reminds you regarding something, then all of a sudden you'll be like, yeah, I remember coming across that discussion. And then you remember it because someone took out the paper and showed it to you. And so it's there. But the problem is it's not something that you are able to access by yourself. Instead of this, if in the beginning, before you actually take any page or paper from anyone, you went inside the room and you built cupboards and shelves, and then you categorized. You said, for example, on this shelf, this information is going to go over here. Or in this cupboard, for example, we have this information. In this file, you have this information. And you put titles. And then the entire room is organized before you actually receive any piece of paper. Now, when you get a piece of paper, instead of throwing it into the room, you're like, okay, this belongs in that topic, which the shelf of is, which is over there, or the file is over there, and you go and place it into that file. And every single time you receive a piece of paper, you go and place it exactly where it belongs in the room. Now, when you think, okay, I remember going through a certain discussion that really interested me and I want to go back to that discussion, you know exactly where to find it. So you enter the room, you go to that place where the file is, and you take it out and you bring it. And you know exactly where it is. This is the difference between a student or a talib al-ilm who has guidance and he understands how he should be studying versus a talib al-ilm that simply gather as much information as possible without understanding where he should place that information. And there's also the difference between a talib al-ilm who goes through the mabadi of the ulum. The whole purpose of going through the preliminary discussions before you study the science is so you understand what you're looking for as you study that ilm. If you don't know what you're looking for, you're not going to find it. If, for example, you're studying a book of nahwa, but you're trying to focus on vocabulary, you're not going to get the nahwi benefit. If you're studying, for example, tafsir, but instead of focusing on the i'rab of the Quran and the tafsir and the different tafasir and so on and so forth, you're focusing on, for example, the saj'a, or you're focused on, for example, tajweed, or something else, you're not going to get the benefit that you're actually meant to be getting from that ilm. So whenever you study an ilm, before you actually study that ilm, you need to study and equip yourself with the information, which is, what am I trying to study? What am I trying to achieve? And where am I trying to store that information? And how am I trying to store that information? Based on that, then when you embark on that journey, then you will be able to benefit and you'll be able to remember these discussions and you'll be able to reference them whenever you want to. So for this purpose, they always start off with the mabadi of the ulum.